Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay Tompkins and I am the social media trainer with Belinda Ellsworth and Step Into Success. And we are so excited to bring you this quick Instagram 101 training for your essential bodywear business. So if you aren't on Instagram right now, or maybe you are and you just really don't know how to leverage it, this is the tutorial for you. Before we get into more of the how, let's just first talk about some of the why. Why should you be on Instagram and what are some of the benefits for your business? Number one, Instagram allows you to build a community of people online. Though Facebook and utilizing your Facebook groups are going to be the best way for you to build vibrant, engaging communities, Instagram gives you a really great option to find other people that are on that platform, as well as engage people with amazing content like photos, Instagram stories, video, and so on. Instagram is very much about aesthetics and images and different captions, so it's really easy to pull people in to your lifestyle and your brand. Instagram also allows you to connect with the next generation. We know that the average age of users on Facebook is 35 to 55, which for many of you, that is your ideal customer. So I don't want you just to completely abandon Facebook for Instagram. But Instagram, again, is a great way for you to build your brand, build your voice, and connect with these millennials and Gen Z that is coming up. They are predominantly on Instagram. So it's important that you put your business and your product and yourself here as well. That way you can connect with the next generation. You can recruit the next generation coming in, more of these millennials and Gen Z, and you can continue to grow your business off of the in-person experience. Instagram also gives you the option and the ability to build a solid brand and voice. Facebook is really great for community once they've gotten to know you. Instagram is really great for that initial conversation, finding new people, finding new voices, finding new ideal customers, and so on. So it's really great because you get to show off exactly who you are. You get to show behind the scenes with Instagram stories. You get to show off your lifestyle, and you get to show off the product in a lot less spammy way. On Instagram, a beautiful photo of, one of the products or one of the bras, for example, does not seem spammy or salesy in the same way that it might translate on Facebook. Facebook needs to be a lot more of you connecting with real people, having real conversations, a lot more Facebook Lives, real, true, teachable moments. But Instagram, you're able to do some really great photos of the product and it doesn't come across as spammy. So it's a really great way for you to continue to build your brand there and show people who you are. It can also, like I mentioned, give people a glimpse into your lifestyle. So like I mentioned with those Instagram stories, showing people what does a day in the life look like for you? What does it look like to have an essential bodywear business? You can share a lot more here on Instagram than you can in other places. And it's a heavily used mobile app. We know that people are using social media more on mobile than they are on their desktop. It works amazing for mobile. It doesn't really work for desktop, so there's no real option there. You can look at an Instagram profile, but there's nothing else that you can really do. And even though it's not a highly converting platform, meaning you are going to still continue to get the most amount of sales from Facebook at this point, it's still a highly used mobile app. So you have to make sure that you are always going where your customers are. And your customers are on Instagram. So I want you to continue to build this. Once you finish this little mini tutorial, I want you to take some of these tasks, really start putting them into place, but realizing and remembering that you don't want to get consumed by vanity metrics on Instagram. It's not about how many likes can your selfie get. We want to make sure that we are building a business, and social media is truly a long-term marketing strategy and plan. People need to see things upwards of 20 times before they ever make a decision. So if you know your customers are spending time on social media, especially Instagram and Facebook, it's important that you're consistently sharing content and sharing about essential bodywear, because, like I mentioned, it will take some time for them to make a decision. So be consistent with that. So now that we know some of the benefits to Instagram, I'm sure you know many, many more. The reason why you're here right now is because you know that there is a benefit to learning Instagram and you want to learn a little bit more. So first, let's set up your Instagram profile. Number one, it needs to be a profile photo of yourself. I see a lot of people using logos or products and so on. We are people, and we know that people do business with people. People are more likely to engage and interact with you when they can see your face and who's behind the brand. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how amazing the products are, people will usually decide whether or not they want to do business with you based on whether or not they feel they want to be friends with you. So make sure that you put your face front and center, put it as your profile photo. You also want to make sure you have a strong bio with a call to action. Bios are really important, and it's a short little way that you get to introduce yourself. So I'm going to show you an example in just a second of what you could do, but be creative with it and show people who are you, what do you offer, and what can they expect from your page. You also want to be sure to move people to your VIP group or into your direct messages. It's important that we are always moving people along. We don't want them just to stay on Instagram because we know it's not a high converting social media platform. It's really important that we continue to funnel them into other areas that we know are really successful. So you want to make sure, again, I'll show you an example of putting your URL to your VIP group as your website URL in your bio. You also want to set your Instagram profile up as a business profile. This way you can see analytics, you can see what your engagement is like, what your reach is like week over week, and you get additional call to action buttons. There's another part of your bio called highlights where you're able to highlight certain stories. So I'm going to show you how to use these, but you're going to want to use these as about sections, and I'm going to show you right now how to do all of this. So here is an example of my Instagram and how you should be setting this up. So right off the bat, there's a photo of myself as my profile picture. People know who they are doing business with, and it really helps if you're meeting people in person. Then if you start following them on Instagram or they see you, then they're like, oh yeah, that's that bra lady, or oh, I met her at Sarah's house. So there's a little bit of that recognition there right away, especially if their profiles are private and you're requesting to be their friend. That way they're like, oh, I know who this person is, and they will accept your request. The next thing is setting it up as a business profile. So you can see that mine says personal blog. That's what I definitely suggest that you put it as. So when you go to the settings section, it's very easy. You can switch it over to business. You can switch it over to a personal one at any time. If you do switch it to a personal one, that's where you have the option to make it private or public. If it's a business one, it will always be public, meaning anybody can see your content. I highly suggest this because we want our content being seen. If you're just using Instagram, to connect with your friends and family, to share personal things, and you're not interested in using it as a way to build your business, then this tutorial really isn't for you. If you want to build it as a business, you need to have it as a business profile, which will mean that your content is public. So just, word of wisdom, make sure that everything you post is appropriate and suitable for all of your customers and potential customers. The other thing that you want to do is you want to have a strong bio, like I mentioned. So mine, for example, is a girl who quit her 9-to-5 with no backup plan. Now I'm a social media trainer who works at home in her underwear, down 50 pounds, and fear, this is my life. So right away, you know exactly who I am. You know what I do. Okay, she's a social media trainer. Is this of interest to me? I do share a lot on my Instagram, for example, about my weight loss and what I'm doing with my health. So I put that in there so that people know to expect that from me, that they're not thrown off when I start posting stories about my weight loss or about the gym or different meals that I'm eating. And they're like, this doesn't make sense. She's a social media trainer, but she's posting also about this. So I make sure that that is right front and center. I also talk about losing fear, becoming yourself, really a lot about self-love. I like to post that. And then I just like to end it with, this is my life. I definitely use Instagram a lot more personally than I even do Facebook. I feel like a lot of what I do on Facebook is business related. So I like to use Instagram to show off more of who I am. Like I mentioned, you're really able to give a glimpse into your lifestyle and into your day to day. The other thing that you can do in your bio is you can have a URL. Now, I always train, even when I train Facebook, is always leading people to your VIP group over your website. The reason why is we want to connect with people and we want to make sure that people are getting the best experience. Not everyone knows how to navigate the website, and truly not everyone knows what they need, and you know that. Majority of women don't know their actual bra size. So it's better to be able to build a relationship with someone first before you try to translate them and convert them into a customer. So I always suggest with your VIP groups is to purchase a URL. So I bought socialtrainingwithlindsay.com on GoDaddy, and when somebody clicks that, it brings them directly to my Facebook group. I know Instagram is a really great way for me to show off my personality and to sell myself as a person, but I know that my VIP group is the place where I can talk a lot more about social media training and I can really convert into customers. So I always like to make sure that that is the URL there. It's important to utilize this URL because on Instagram, on your posts, you don't have the option to put clickable links, meaning you can't lead someone to a product or lead someone to your VIP group based on something that you post to your feed or even in your story. So it's important that you have this there and you continuously point to it. As you can see under my URL, this is also where I have my highlights. You can set these up through your stories, which are on your home page. So if you just click that little home button at the left corner at the bottom, you'll be able to upload a story, and then you will have the option to create and add that to a highlight. A lot of people, and when it first came out, this is how everyone did it, that you just set up different topics and you categorized your content under each of those headings. So for example, anything that I posted about travel would go under travel, anything that I posted about health would go under there, my free group, and so on. But what I have found is that people aren't going through all of those different types of stories. And if you're consistently adding to it, you may have hundreds of posts under each topic, and people just won't sit around. So I like to use these essentially as an about section so that when you click on one, it gives you the information that you're looking for. So these always stay very static. They're the same all of the time unless I need to update one. But for the most part, they remain the same. And I, again, use it more as an about section. People can find more information about those things. The only one I ever continuously update are quotes, and that's because a lot of people that follow me are small business owners and direct sellers. So when I add quotes in there, it just gives you some good examples to go to make quote posts of your own on Canva or to share to your own social media profiles. So I'm going to show you an example of what I mean by that. So when you click on me, one of the ones you will see under the me category is I'm a 28-year-old Canadian puppy mom to the sweetest boy, Joe. This is my personal Insta where you can get to know me better. But if you're interested in social media training, join my free group in my bio. Again, I'm continuously leading people back to that URL in my bio so that I can get them to Facebook. I know that Instagram is a great way to build likability, but not necessarily to build customers directly on Instagram. So I can find them, but I love to move them over to Facebook there. Another example, when somebody clicks my free group one, they'll see this little ad that I made up that says, want free social media training for your business? Are you a direct seller, blogger, coach, or entrepreneur? Join my free group. I put the link right there, or click the link in my bio. I made this on the app WordSwag. WordSwag does have a template for Instagram stories, which I love, and it's just on your phone, super easy, really great in cute fonts and different colors and photos that you can use as well. So I definitely suggest that you check out WordSwag to help you make more of your stories, especially for your highlight sections. So moving away from the stories just for right now, when it comes to content, what should I post and how often should I be posting? Number one, you want to make sure that anything you're posting to your Instagram feed is great, high quality content. And what I mean by that is pretty photos. You want to make sure that you're telling stories, sharing information, and providing real value. You don't want these to look like early 2000s webcam pics or, maybe something that you would have posted to MySpace. You want to make sure the photos are high quality. If they're very pixelated or blurry, or it's just not that cute of a photo, typically it's not going to get as high of engagement and as many likes or comments. So it's important that you use really great looking photos. You don't need to do a photo shoot for this, but just even using something like your iPhone, especially if you have a newer iPhone, there's the portrait setting. There's a lot of really great shots that you can do. And of course, corporate shares so many great images on our corporate Facebook business page, so make sure you go check those out as well. Like I mentioned, you want to make sure that you're providing real value. So you can share little things about bra tips or how things should fit, or, scheduling a bra fitting, or, the benefits of having an in-home experience versus the uncomfortable department store experience. So you want to make sure that everything you're posting has value to your customer outside of it just being a pretty photo. You also want to post your feed only 2 to 3 times a week to start. And really, that's all you'll probably be doing. A few years ago, it was a great option to post multiple times to Instagram to build your following quickly. However, with the new algorithm and the way that Instagram works, we're not just seeing posts within, 72 hours anymore. You can find things from days ago. They're not just living within a few hours and, you're never going to see that post again. When you're going through your feed, you may say things from 5 days ago, 6 days ago, if Instagram knows that you're interested in that content as well as that person. So don't feel like you need to post too often. Typically, the more you post, actually the less engagement you will get. So 2 to 3 really, really great photos a week to your Instagram. Big tip here, never post for the sake of posting because it's going to hurt you in the algorithm. Make sure that it has a purpose, it's a great photo, and you've thought about the caption. For a lot of you, planning in advance will be really helpful, but sometimes we have those moments of inspiration where we feel really excited about something, we have something really important to say, something we're really passionate about. So those are really great in the moment as well. Otherwise, I definitely suggest planning some of this content in advance, especially if you haven't developed a habit for Instagram as of yet. Regardless of how often you post, you want to make sure you're consistent in how often you post. So if you're going to post 2 times a week, continue to post 2 times a week. If you want to post 5 times a week, be consistent in that as well. The algorithm seems to love consistent content, both on Instagram and on Facebook. If you weren't sure, Facebook actually does own Instagram, so you'll see some similarities there. However, just be consistent. You also want to have strong captions with your posts. This is something that a lot of people overlook. You can actually share longer captions than you actually think that you can. If it's a great caption, it's really compelling, you're going to see more comments there. If it's just a cute photo with a short caption, you're just getting a double tap, a double thumb tap saying, hey, this is cute, and moving on. A great caption can allow someone to slow down, meaning then they're more likely to comment, which will just continue to boost your algorithm and your engagement. You also want to tag brands where applicable. So say, for example, you're taking a selfie and you've used certain makeup products. Be sure to tag those brands, especially if it's a really great photo. A lot of other brands love to repurpose and repost content. So it's a great way to get additional followers if you can get another brand to repost a photo that you've done as well. Of course, use hashtags. Hashtags aren't as important as they used to be in terms of getting your content seen. However, you can still do it. It's a great way to get additional likes, but definitely test it. See, do my posts do better with or without hashtags? And do they do better with hashtags that are extremely popular, so have millions of posts? Or do they do better with about 10,000 to 1 million posts? The problem with big ones is that content is being posted under those hashtags every single second. So it doesn't necessarily mean that someone is going to see your post. However, there are still people that use hashtags to find certain products, brands, or people that they're looking for, or type of people. For example, I found a photographer in my area because I looked up Hamilton photographer. So make sure that you use appropriate hashtags for your posts. And also another great way to get a few more views on something or a few more likes is using a location setting. A lot of people look up locations especially when they're traveling or they're looking to go to an area maybe they haven't been to. So if you're doing something while out and about, maybe down at the pier in whatever city you live in and you captured a really great photo, definitely tag the location because you're going to get more views on there. So here's an example of a caption that I did, and as you can see, it has a good amount of comments. It's long. I do have some hashtags there. It got great engagement. So I just really wanted to show you that you can post longer, thoughtful captions. They don't all need to be this long. They can be a few lines, but typically the ones that just have maybe a few words don't do as well. A lot of people, especially the younger generation, use a lot of song lyrics to caption their photos. Those aren't as beneficial or as effective. The younger generation, I want to remind you, especially the Gen Xers, so the 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are on Instagram, all of their friends are on Instagram, so they typically have higher engagement. So don't think that just because they're getting 600, 700, 800 likes on a post, that they know exactly how to use Instagram to build a strong, engaging following that can turn into customers. That's just where their entire generation is. But you can read through this if you want. You can just click pause right now if you want to read through this status just to see what it was that I talked about and see that you need to step outside of being very basic, dig deeper, share a story, be motivational, be inspirational. These are the types of things that people really connect with. So now that we've talked about some of the posts that you can do, let's talk about why you need to use stories daily. You need to use all the different areas of Instagram to see results more quickly. You can't just throw up 2 photos to your Instagram a week, never look at Instagram again, and expect to grow a large following. Actually, posting to Instagram is a small part of what you're actually going to be doing, which I'm going to talk about towards the end. So make sure you watch this entire short video. But you want to make sure that you're utilizing all the different areas. There are 3 different things that you can currently do on Instagram. Number 1 is obviously post to your feed. Number 2 is utilizing the stories. And the third one is called Instagram TV, which is a relatively new feature. Facebook just actually recently reported that Instagram TV is not doing as well as they hoped. I think it's because the behaviors that we've developed on Facebook is that people spend a lot more time on Facebook in terms of watching lengthy Facebook Lives, reading blog posts and articles, reading longer statuses. Where Instagram is scroll, double tap, scroll, double tap. Our attention span isn't really great there. So you can definitely start utilizing Instagram TV if you want to. It always pays to be an early adopter of a feature. However, stories and posts are definitely going to be the places that you want to spend the most time. Stories are really great because 20% of the time, stories turn into direct messages, which is a huge plus, meaning people are going to respond to your stories. This way, you're able to build stronger relationships with people that you actually want to do business with. So make sure that you are always using stories. And more people are engaging with stories even over the traditional feed. A lot of the times people will go on Instagram, watch a bunch of stories, get off Instagram, and go back to what they were doing. So that's why it's definitely important for you to learn how to utilize stories as a part of your ongoing Instagram strategy. So how are some of the ways that we can actually use stories? Number 1, because we do really want to encourage a lot of those direct messages and conversations happening more privately on Instagram. Using things like polls and questions to generate engagement is a really great and effective way to do that. Another thing that you always want to do and keep in mind when it comes to stories is to say things that elicit feedback, opinions, agreement, engagement, and so on. People really want to engage with you online. So don't just go on there and talk at people. Really utilize your stories to help generate conversations and ask for other people's opinions. Now, where you're only going to be posting 2 to 3 times a day, or a week, for your Instagram posts, you definitely want to post daily to your stories, approximately 12 times a day. Anything more than that, people are going to swipe away from you because they think that you're posting too much. People don't want to see you for 30 different, story posts. So keeping it at about 12 times a day is a good range. Don't be overwhelmed by 12 a day, because a lot of the time what you're doing in the moment will take up more than one story, because a story is only 14 seconds per clip. So some of the things that you can do with your stories is show behind the scenes to your life, business, what's going on at your parties, what it is that you do. You can show different things like bra fittings with friends, like I mentioned here. Use those Instagram stories and say, hey guys, today I wanted to show you how to do a proper bra fitting so that it's easier and more seamless for you to shop for your bras. We know that everybody is really uncomfortable when it comes to shopping for their bra. It's something that we definitely put off. So show those sort of things in your Instagram stories. Because stories disappear after 24 hours, you can post the same type of content more regularly. So for example, you could post something like bra fitting tips once a month or every other week, because people either, want to go back, they want to see it again because it's already disappeared, or there's going to be a big group of people that actually didn't see it when you posted it. So it's okay to repeat some of that content, which is really great. One of my biggest tips when it comes to stories is to switch up your content and the type of content. So what I mean by that is use video, show yourself, use, different images and graphics, use GIFs, use memes, do polls, do just text only. There's a variety of different things that you can do, and you want to change it up and offer that variety so that people don't become bored with your story and swipe away. We want to continue to engage them. So you don't want to just be a talking head for 12 of your stories. And you also don't want to avoid showing yourself either, because remember, people do business with people they want to be friends with. So now that you know a lot of these basic tips, you know what to post to your profile, you know what your profile and bio should look like, you know what you should be doing with stories and that you should be utilizing them every day. How are you going to really start growing your following? Number one, my biggest tip is your goal shouldn't or isn't to be Insta famous. Your goal is to build an income. We don't set out for those vanity likes. Don't get wrapped up in vanity metrics. Spend less time looking at how many likes a selfie got and spend more time actually looking at your sales and working with your team. The best way truly to grow an Instagram following is to use it as a true social media platform. You just can't post a photo to your Instagram, put your phone down, wait a few days, and then hope that you have thousands of new followers, you have all these new people in your VIP group, and you have all of these people buying from you. You actually have to put in work outside of just posting. Posting is just a small part of what you need to do on Instagram. What I suggest is finding bloggers or different brands that have similar customers to what you're trying to attract, and go look those people up. So go to their posts, go see who's commenting and liking on their photos. Follow those people, engage with them, comment and like on their posts. They're more likely to follow you back and start to build a relationship with you. And again, don't obsess with how many followers that you have. As you start to utilize Instagram a lot more consistently, you're going to start receiving messages from accounts that say, hey, we love your feed, or hey, you're not getting as many likes as I think that you should. Work with us and we can help get you more likes, more engagement, and more followers. A lot of the time, they're just buying you followers. You're purchasing those follows. And it's not an effective or efficient way to do business. The more followers you have, if you don't match that with engagement, then it's going to hurt you in the algorithm. At the end of the day, it's better to have 500 highly targeted, highly engaged followers that actually want to hear from you versus having 10,000, 40,000 followers that have nothing to do with what you're doing and have no interest in what you want to say. So don't obsess about growing your following. Obsess about and being intentional about finding the right followers and fans. And you can do that by following other different types of product lines, other body positive bloggers, mom bloggers, lifestyle and beauty bloggers. Go find their followers, connect with them, and you'll start to see your Instagram grow. Now that you have all of this awesome information, go ahead and get started. Have fun with Instagram, play around, see what is working for you, and just follow some of these basic tips. Don't overthink it. Don't stress yourself out. 2 to 3 times a week, posting to your feed, daily with your stories and just continue to build highly targeted, highly engaged followers with amazing content while being completely yourself. Remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. So be your authentic self, build friendships, and you will see your social media business explode.